The Blue Angels aerobatics team, or flight demonstration team, have flown some variety of the FA-18 Hornet or Super Hornet for the last 40 years. But this year not only marks 40 years since they've taken that mount, but also 80 years since the team's formation. And this Revell set, well, it celebrates sort of not first and last, but first and present. So let's go and have a look at this beautiful kit. Hey guys, it's model making time, and today we're looking at the Revell Blue Angels 80th anniversary set, featuring an F6F Hellcat and an FA-18 Super Hornet. Now, this set is more than meets the eye, and we'll discuss that when we're looking at the kit itself. We'll have a brief look at the Kitstory of the kit, which is the history of the kits, and, well, we'll also have a look at what's inside the box. You can see it in the chapters down below, and of course we'll also talk about the pricing of this kit, whether it's worth your money, and also about the paints. Now, I guess the first thing you should do is go and have a look at the Kitstory, because it explains what we get in this set and why it's more than meets the eye. To understand the kits involved, we should have a quick chat about the history of the Blue Angels, and they formed in 1946, originally using the F6F Hellcat that is featured inside this kit, and it was with that aircraft they established their iconic blue and gold paint scheme. But as I said, we'll talk about the paints after we've looked about what's inside the box. Now, they didn't use this aircraft very long, and they used a myriad of aircraft afterwards. So after the F6F Hellcat, they went on to a Bearcat. After the Bearcat, they transitioned to their first jet, which was the F9F Panther, and that was in 1951. That aircraft actually served them for some time, because it was in 1957 that they transitioned to the F9 Cougar. Very shortly after, they then moved over to the F11F, which is a rather infamous aircraft. That's something for another day, and perhaps when, well, maybe we built that model. They would then move over to the F4, one of the most famous aircraft in all of aviation history, in 1969. From the venerable F4 Phantom, they moved on to the A4 Skyhawk in 1974. In 1986, the team got the FA-18, the type that they, in some capacity, have used ever since, and they upgraded to the FA-18 Super Hornet in 2020, which they remain using to this day. Also in 1952, they did use an F7U, or they had two of them, the Vor F7U, but I'm not really counting that because it wasn't like their full team or anything, and wasn't really even a full season. Again, we'll talk about the paint schemes a bit later on, but hopefully this gives you the context as to why this kit features an F6F and also a Super Hornet together. So let's have a look at the Kitstories. The first thing we need to talk about in this Kitstory is the F6F, and it's not a Revell kit. And it's not a secret or anything, it's literally on the sprues that it says Eduard, but for some reason when I was looking up this kit, I couldn't really find any reference to the fact it was an Eduard set, except on Hanat's website. So thanks Hanat's, I guess. I would have seen it obviously on the sprue itself, and it's really clear when you open the box that there's two very different types of sprues, especially with the round sort of sprue design of the Eduard transparencies. But that means we get a really lovely kit. And, well, where did that all start? The tooling dates all the way back to 2011. God, I feel old saying all the way back to 2011. It was released in a couple of different sort of varieties, and some of them were listed as having like new ports and new decals sort of over the following year, but there was quite a variety of F6Fs that you could get. Also, Plastic Planet Club released their own version in 2012, which was a Fleet Air Arm version. So again, really different decals, really different look for the aircraft. Eduard's Bunny Fighter Club released an exclusive set in 2013, and there seems to have been a Novemberfest version in 2014 as well. So presumably these are probably quite hard to get hold of now. They then released the kit again in 2016. It looks like some of them were re-releases and some had new decals or new parts, and they kind of continued releasing every 2 years up until today. And now it's in a Revell box. Vesely Lepic released a kit in 2018 as well, so that was a separate release, but that seems to be all the releases of the Eduard F6F. It is still readily available outside of this kit, so if you don't want the Blue Angels one, there is one out there. The Super Hornet from Revell, well, actually its own tooling, is much more simple and was released initially in 2009. It then got a really nice re-release in 2012 with the release of Top Gun Maverick, or the time leading up to the release, there was Top Gun Fever, and many model manufacturers were releasing their own Top Gun line, and Revell was no exception, re-releasing their Super Hornet as, well, the one featured in the film itself. 2 years after the Top Gun release, we got a re-release of the 2012 boxing, and that was kind of it up until today. There were a lot of Platts boxings, and they seem to be still coming out to this day too, but this video isn't really looking at them. But if you want to see sort of really specific unique markings, then go and look at the Platts releases. But we're looking specifically obviously at the Blue Angels box releasing, so I've sort of focused on Revell's sort of own line really rather than Platts's, but there was a lot of them. For the F6F, you seem to be able to get this kit for about £16 in the United Kingdom, and in Europe it seems to go from 12 to 15 euros. Not unsurprising that it's cheaper on the continent. For the Revell Super Hornet, the price difference is, well, it's much less. In the UK, you seem to be able to get it for about £21, and on the continent it's about 22 euros, so it's a much smaller difference between the prices there. Whether or not this is worth it compared to the actual cost of the set itself, I think I want to go to a bit more detail about that after we've had a look what's inside the box itself. So I think we should go and open that bad boy and have a look inside. Let's go. Before we get into that though, make sure you give this video a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. It's free and you'll get to see my latest and greatest videos. And leave a comment down below. Are you looking at picking up this kit? I mean, obviously I already have, but I want to know if you are too. Additionally, hype the video if you are on mobile devices, and again, just everyone like the video and share it. It really helps in the algorithm. If you want to join a lovely friendly community of model makers, you can head over to the Discord. The link is in the description down below. And if you want to support the channel more, you can do so over on Ko-fi with a one-off donation or a rolling one. And you can do the same with YouTube channel memberships, which have starter set and advanced kit level members. The difference is advanced kits get shouted out at the end of the video, which is really cute. Anyway, let's go back in and have a look. And here it is, the Blue Angels 80 years 1/72nd scale kit from Revell, and I must say I love the artwork for the set. The box itself is really nice, giving you examples of the piece, but also on the back showing you all the paints that it comes with. This is a build and paint set, which means it comes with everything you need. A brush, some glue, and some paint. And don't worry, I'll check all the paint as we open it. But I do really like this box. I'll chat about that a bit later on, but it's really nice, and I like that it says here, piece by piece, build your masterpiece. It's really, really cool. They've really put a lot of thought into their redesigned boxings, reminding me a lot of like the Hella style boxings, and it means you've got somewhere to store your model as you're building it too. Or might be a bit more difficult with this one because there's two of them. The instructions for this have really been a step up for Revell. They still have this sort of alphabetized system, but it's all very sort of easy to see now because of the colors involved, and it tells you how to mix as well, which actually a lot of people might not know how to do when they are getting into modeling. The first kit in the instructions is the oldest of the aircraft, which is the F6F Hellcat. The instructions are really nice, and it makes it really easy to put together. And despite the fact this is two different manufacturers' models, they kept the style of the instructions the same and give you a full colour printout of how the model should look afterwards. And because these are pretty much one colour, it makes it a lot easier. Although on the F18, of course, you're going to have some yellow too. The F18 also looks incredibly simple, and I again really applaud how well the instructions look. Until I followed them and put it together myself, I can't say that they're like, you know, exceptional, but they look a lot better than some of Revell's previous instructions that I've used before. And again, I applaud them for modernizing, moving with the times. The only thing I wish is that they included a QR code to a digital version instead, rather than having us rely on scalemates, but I also appreciate it's about enjoying the kit itself and not needing to depend on online. The decals look fantastic. Again, won't know their usage until I build it, but they look great, and historically, I've always found Revell's decals to be almost on par with Airfix's. This is a very packed sheet, so you will have to be careful to make sure you're not cutting anything else off whilst you're going along, which I do have a habit of doing, and I do think they did a really good job in highlighting the gold against the yellow for the previous aircraft. They also give you the markings for all of the planes, which is something they did in their red arrows, which I like. Now, you do get a brush included, but I'm gonna say I don't think this brush is great. It'll be good for a first timer, particularly doing planes that are pretty much just one colour, but it's not amazing. I did open all of the paints and they had an incredibly tight seal. In fact, the last one I struggled to open. So these all came fine. None of the sort of shortfalls that I've seen on other manufacturers where the paints are dried up. The glue included is also really cool because it's the one with the little metal tip, so it'll be really easy to precision glue. We're looking at the F6F first, and I think it looks great. The detail on this looks lovely, and I can see why this kit has been released so many times. Not just because it's a popular subject, but clearly this is a fantastic little kit. I'm really excited to actually put this together, especially because it'll be the first one I do if I do an entire history of the Blue Angels. There are recessed panel line details and some rivet details, and the engine detail is also pretty good for a 1/72nd scale kit. This one will maybe even take you longer to put together than the F-18, judging by the look of the parts. But that's not a bad thing. Again, this is a really versatile kit that they've released in a lot of different liveries and markings, so it makes sense there's so much included. Eduard have this sort of circular system for the glass components here, and it seems fine. It's a good way to protect them, but I still had one of mine that had fallen off. Now that can lead to some markings on them, but luckily with mine it seems fine and the transparency is literally crystal clear. The F-18 is a pretty big kit, especially the Super Hornet that we're building, well, looking at building. And so I had to put it in sort of two different parts when looking at the overall sprues. There's still quite a few parts though, and I was a bit disappointed with the glass sections that they just came loose like this in a bag, and this main section seems to have quite a few marks on it and it's not quite as clear. That should be okay though, and I hopefully will be able to make it look okay in the end. I always mess up my canopies anyway, but it's not great when it's compared to the Eduard one. The Super Hornet itself seems to have a nice amount of detail, and it seems a really simple to put together aircraft. I, for one, am not a fan of models that do a lot of parts for the parts count's sake, rather than just having a really nice to put together model that builds a fantastic kit at the end. At the end of the day, we've only got so much time on this earth and our modelling ventures, so I appreciate a simple kit. Reminds me of sort of the Eurofighter from FX recently, and so, well, this kit's kind of my jam. And I'm a bit sad that this is going to be the last kit I build if I do the whole series. But hey, maybe I'll just build this box first. You'll have to let me know in the comments down below. The cockpit seems okay detail-wise. I would say it feels like the F6F is potentially a little bit more detailed, but I think at the end of the day, they'll still look lovely together. Now that we've seen inside the box, I think it's time we talked about the price of this kit, because I think it's much easier to understand the context of it once you've seen inside the box, seeing what you're getting, seeing if it's good quality and all that jazz. Now, for full transparency, I bought this kit myself with my own money, and it was £41.39, or at least it is at the moment on e-models, and that doesn't include any sort of postage fees or collections fees if you're going to go pick it up yourself. Now, in Europe, the set seems to be listed for about €49.99. But I have seen it on some websites as low as 40. One went to 38, but when I tried to add it to my cart, it didn't work. So I'm going to say around the €40 mark. It's much cheaper in the continent. In the United States, the cheapest I could see this set was for $60. I know I've gone through US pricing yet. We'll talk about that in a moment. So, if you were to buy these sets on their own, they do roughly come up to about the £40 mark, I would say, if you're really looking out for sort of deals or going on eBay, and that's just sort of an average of different prices that I could see online. And in Europe, it's probably around the same, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. Again, it varies depending on what country you're in and the availability of them to ship it to you. Now, Obviously, it being about the same price doesn't mean that it's actually better to buy it separately, because this set is really unique in that you're getting beautiful decals for both the FA-18 Super Hornet and for the F6F, and most sets that do histories of the Blue Angels as well haven't included these two sets before. In fact, I've actually got one, which was the Hasegawa set that featured from the Panther all the way up to the Skyhawk, and then Italeri, I believe, and maybe Hasegawa have released the FA-18 before as well. So actually this is a bit of a unique positioning. It means you could probably complete your full Blue Angels range for a good price. And again, if you were to buy these separately and want to do the Blue Angels, you've got to buy decals afterwards, and that starts to add up. So I think this is a good value for money. Now, America, it's a little bit different. Looking at the cost of these sets, I found the F6F and the Super Hornet for both around the same price, between sort of $20 to $30, so let's call it $25. So that means if you were to buy both separately, it's $50, and then this set was about $60 from what I could see. Again, it could be that it's going to get cheaper, or that like they might get sort of a more official route to get it from Revell, but who knows with America right now. So that's what I could find just from a search at the moment. I do still think the set is potentially still cheap though, because again, a $10 difference when you've got to factor in buying decals, making sure the decals like are all correct, because they're not always if you're buying them from third parties. Sometimes decals from third parties aren't always like the highest quality, whereas ones you buy in like really mainstream kits tend to be really good quality. I still think it's a good proposition, and for two sets, for how long you might spend building and painting them, again, I think it's pretty good value. Not that it really adds to the value of the kit, but I would like to praise Revell on something that when I've interviewed Luke and spoken to him before, said that they were going to do, which is changing the boxes, because we've all been to model shows and seen the boxes and they're just crushed, and Revell ones are always slightly ajar because they just get compressed under the weight of other kits, and this is a proper rigid top opening box. It's a really lovely experience. Like when you open it, there's like a little message as you open it, and it's just actually really nice. Also, I think the artwork on this is gorgeous, so credit there as well. I think this is a really lovely set. Like, and again, not sponsored, they haven't sent me this for free, I pay for it with my own money, purely because I love display teams, and I think this is a really exciting direction for Revell. They've done the Red Arrows Hawk before, not really a surprise, they're one of the like premier aerobatic display teams in the world, but I've never seen them do like, you know, Plateau de France. That's normally been like a Hella and Ethics thing, and it would be really interesting if Revell were to do a couple more display teams, because they do so many interesting and unique solo display team schemes, particularly anniversary scheme for things like the Eurofighter, and they've done like the Royal Netherlands Air Force F-16 solo display team, and they've done the Solo Turk as well, which is an F-16. So I would be so hyped if they were to do more display teams for things that we haven't seen before, or that are just no longer really in production. And that could include things like the Black Knights of Singapore, could include the Midnight Hawks, a different Hawk variant, and the previously mentioned Plateau de France. Oh, and maybe Asas de Portugal, because they've never had a proper release before. But that's just a wish list, and if it was just a wish list, I'd also add, make a new tool of the Casa C101 Aviojet. No, just me? Okay then. Editing me here. So yeah, I was also actually thinking that the Thunderburst display team is 73 years old, so I wonder if Revell are going to do something for their 75th, because that seems like the perfect opportunity, and they've done so many F-16s already that it just seems like a silly thing to miss, so here's hoping. So the paint schemes for the Blue Angels, I said we talk about it, and there's a reason why. So a lot of people seem to have it in their mind that the Blue Angels have only ever had one colour, and that's sort of like become known as Blue Angels Blue. In Revell Aqua colour, that was quite often referred to as Lufthansa Blue. In the set, Revell seem to acknowledge this by giving you the aforementioned Lufthansa Blue, but also giving you Night Blue. It doesn't really look like it in the pots, as you may have seen in the unboxing, but Night Blue is much darker. And you can kind of see it on the artwork too, how it's almost a blacky blue. I really think it's kind of almost a blue, violet, grey vibe compared to the brighter, almost cobalt-esque blue of the Lufthansa blue, or Blue Angels blue. I have linked a lot of resources in the description down below because I wanted to also go and check this before, I guess, talking about this, and it's really interesting to read through the history of the paint they used, and it seems that earlier, I guess like a lot of wartime production too, they kind of just used the paints that were readily available or weren't being used for other things, and over time they sort of changed or added in, say, white to lighten it and just had a slightly different look. And it seems like it's gone sort of lighter and then darker and just changed over the course of its history. That's not uncommon, and if you speak to anyone who sort of paints World War II aircraft, you'll find that the colours changed over the course of the war as well, depending on supply availability. And display teams, well, they weren't always the sort of premier thing that they are today. You do find modern display teams are much more consistent with their colour, for example, the red arrows. But this just goes to show that even display teams can have a wildly different look, depending on what era you're looking at. Revell have really shown that here, with not only having the two different blues, but also having the golds that are painted onto the aircraft looking different too. Really, today we know them as the Blue Angels with blue and yellow, but back originally it was blue with gold. I saw one reference to it being gold leaf, but not too sure on that. But it definitely had gold markings to adorn its blue scheme. I really do think Revell have done their best to try and match them to their historical counterparts, which is fantastic. And unlike in a lot of Revell sets, you don't need to mix the custom colour. Yes, they still use the sort of A, B, C, D alphabet marking scheme for their paint colours, but not having it be sort of 25% of one, 75% of another in a set that's, I would argue, is kind of for beginners. I think that's fantastic. I always think display team aircraft are great for this reason. But do I recommend this set? Should you buy it or fly away from it? And, well, I've not built it yet, so I can't give you a full answer in the sense of like, oh my god, it's so easy to build, because I've just not done that yet. I've only just got the kit. But looking through the kit and looking at the history of these kits, they do seem good. Now, I again haven't looked into it enough to see if these are the most accurate models, and I imagine they may have some discrepancies because almost every single model kit in the world does. But go and do your own research on if you want like the ultimate, most accurate model. But for a beginner, this seems brilliant. A really good way to get someone into the hobby and build something that they've always like seen flying around the skies, particularly if you're in America, or if you're in the UK, where the Blue Angels have basically never been, except from what I can see like once doing a display. It's a way for me to pretend that I'm seeing them if I hang it to my ceiling, because I'm probably never going to see them. So yeah, I guess I'm recommending the kit, but with a huge caveat that I've not actually built them yet. But I guess on that note, do you want me to build them? Because I mentioned earlier, I've got that Hasegawa set, which features the like middle of their aircraft. It just doesn't have any of the F-18s or the F-6F, and now I have the F-6F and the Super Hornet. Well, it kind of leaves it wide open for me to complete the set with an F-8F and also the F-18 regular, which I'm 90% sure I do have in my stash already. Like, I want to say I've got the Hasegawa one. It could be the Italia one, but I've definitely got one somewhere. So if you want to see that, leave a comment down below, because I love doing all of the aircraft of display team. I've done Il Flecce Tricolore, I've done Plateau de France, I've done the Red Arrows. Maybe it's time I do an American team. I mean, I'm dressed in blue already. If you like what you've seen here today, make sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know how much you've liked it, or do the previous comment that I've probably literally just mentioned. And, well, you can join a lovely community of model makers in the Discord too. The link is in the description below. You can sort of share your most recent builds, ongoing projects, or completed masterpieces, or, well, in my case, probably not a masterpiece, in a forum style layout, and it's a really lovely, approachable place, so I'll see you there. If you want to support the channel more as well, I do have my Ko-fi, which you can give me a one-off sort of donation or whatever you want to call it, and you can also do it on a monthly basis on there or here on YouTube as a channel member, or you can be a starter kit or advanced kit level member. Advanced kit level members get shouted out at the end of the video, so you'll see those names in a moment. Finally, if you're on mobile, hype up the video, and for everyone, give it a like. It really helps in the algorithm. With that, I'll see you in the next video. See you later. Bye! It's been a difficult time for me recently, so I just want to give an extra big shout out to anyone who supported the channel, even if it's just saying hi or leaving me a really lovely comment. I am slowly getting better, but thank you all so much. And a few of you joined recently through live streams too, which is really cool to see. I also want to give a massive shout out to my advanced kit level members, including Heinrich Smid 99. So thank you to Mad Rob, Marcus, Anodyne, Aaron Wilson, Morton Bay Modelling, It's Jay Gonzo, Doug Smith, Johnny A, Heinrich Smid, Model Making John, Marcus Camfield, Taggers 365, Star Trek Props and Models, Bobby G, Dafty Duck, Bob and Genevieve Albridge, David Barber, Jeff's Dioramas, the two longest supporters at this tier as well, Explosive Water and Crazy Loacher. Crazy Loacher, you supported me so much over the last few months, so a massive extra shout out goes to you. Thank you all, you help make this channel and this community extra special. I know you love what you've seen today, so check out that recommended video. And I also do live streams, so stay subscribed to see what I'm building. Currently it's the B36, which is huge, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Bye!